Since Akhtar is pointing towards you, how do you see it with the digital onboarding? That how
I think
reliable it is and how
I think
you incorporate it?
first and foremost, I would definitely ask for some points for patience because this topic is very close to me. While Athar was discussing this, I was jumping up and down to crack in with the input that we have. Edemia is a very big name. Edemia has done a wonderful job, and I think a lot of banks in the industry have utilized their services. Dinfo, on the other hand, we are a new startup, and we have precisely worked on these parameters as Athar was discussing this now, all of these features that the OCR data capturing and the liveliness check and all of these things. So this is precisely what our proprietary platform is. Just taking it a step further, adding the compliance bit to it. See, there are a lot of lists. There are some UN sanction lists. There are some other global watch lists. There are some PEP list, which is politically exposed people. There are some negative media lists. So our system, in addition to taking the whole identity of the client on the system, what we do is that we do all these checks as we are filling up the form. So let's say you just put in your Emirates ID number of a Pakistani, your NICOP number, and the data would be captured from backend. You don't need to do anything. OCR would capture everything. Then there's going to be a 10-second video, like I'm speaking to you right now. Out of that video, it will be taken, a selfie would be taken, which would be compared with your Emirates ID picture or with your national ID card picture. And as Athar rightly mentioned, there's going to be a score. That this match is 35%, 45%, 55%. And that depends on the criteria which the bank or the financial institution wants to set up, that our minimum threshold is 35% or something like that. So that is as the customer is going through all of this these processes at the back end, since he has inputted his Emirates ID number or his national ID card number, he is getting cross-checked against the multiple compliance list to see whether there is a positive hit or not. If the guy appears in any of the negative list or anything, so at the end of the process, the customer would be told that sorry, we cannot proceed. If it's a clear case where there is no match, no name match, then we will move on head forward with that. And again, another interesting thing
So
which
Hassan,
sorry, yeah, Mehrab, yeah.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I'm just trying to connect the journey. So the journey is that you do a digital onboarding where you have your first name, last name, and you put your ID card, whether it's Nadra or it's Emirates ID or any ID card, Aadhaar card. And then this data comes to a pipe or a system which has to do these checks of anti-money laundering or PEP and all these checks.
So to start with your Emirates ID and your NICOP, your information is picked up. You don't have to say that my name is Athar or Hassan Abbas or whatever. Everything gets picked up from the Emirates ID or NICOP that you've put in over there. Your address, your date of birth, your gender, all of these fields are automatically populated to start with. And while they are getting populated, at the same time, on the back end, the system is checking against multiple lists that you want to get checked against. Because see, these are globally accepted lists, and these are the measures which generally banks take to safeguard themselves against any anti-money laundering activity. So this is the fun part is that it's straight through processing. It's not that you input your name and your details and all, and the way it's done traditionally in banks right now. At the back end is a sanction list check that somebody would be having a look at the world United Nation list or negative list or negative media. Everything as you are inputting or as you're going through the system is getting checked at the back end. Then there are certain questions like if you've been through the onboarding process of a bank, banks try to assess what is your risk rating. Are you a low risk client, medium risk client, or a high risk client? So at this as you move on our platform, you will be asked certain questions that which geographies do you want to deal with, which is the primary location that you're working from, what kind of products do you want to deal with, you want to do a lot of remittances, you want to do a lot of LCs, whatever your transaction behavior is. And on the basis of that, your risk rating is done. I think compliance professionals would resonate with that. That right now the FATF regime is such that everything has to be on a risk-based approach. If it's a low-risk customer, you treat him differently. If it's a medium-risk customer, there's a separate treatment required. And for a high risk customer, there has to be annual due diligence and all. So, fintechs like us, like Idinfo, we are developing processes which incorporate the learnings that we have from companies like Idemia and taking it to the next level, adding on the banking platform requirements as well, which are the compliance, risk rating, liveliness check, negative list check, all of those things. So combining them and then offering a platform where the customer can get onboarded. So again, as I said, we're marketing the company, but today you might have seen in Business Recorder and Dawn and everywhere that we have signed up with NCCPL, that is the clearinghouse in Pakistan for digital onboarding, like this Khushhal Pakistan or the account, the new account that we are opening for digital non-resident Pakistanis from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic effort by the government of Pakistan. Now we are supplementing that and we are offering a platform for people to start investing in the stock market as well. So through your brokers or directly yourself, you can go on system, you can have your brokerage account opened as well. And in the brokerage account, we are trying to cover all of these elements which I just spoke about, the due diligences, the checks, the lists and all, verification of individual, all of these things, we are getting it done. So that I think way forward should definitely be only digital onboarding. Those paper filling exercises, they were cumbersome, they were tiring. I think time for that is gone. And when it comes to a customer onboarding, it has to be a digital process where the customer has to do minimal input. The customer should only be giving his transactional profile, that what kind of expectations he has from bank, what kind of usage he will have with the bank. And more than that, his basic information, कि जी कहाँ रहते हैं, date of birth क्या है, all of these things are, linked with your ID and we should be able to capture them anyways.